Good morning everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk about my Hobonichi Weeks as a planner and some of the ideas that I want to bring into 2024 with me. I even brought out older planners here. So this is from 2021, this is from 2022, and this is my current Hobonichi Weeks planner. And yeah, I just thought I would make a more chatty style video, and maybe you can already hear that in the background there is a typhoon that is currently passing over Japan. I have here on my phone the current typhoon is passing over Osaka. We are right here and this is the center, so there'll be a lot of background noise, maybe of the storm, of the wind sound and the rain sound, so I hope it's okay. But yeah, I thought I would just sit down and share with you some of my ideas for 2024 in regards to Hobonichi Weeks as a planner, and yeah, just some of my ideas as well. So if you're interested in hearing me chat about it, please keep watching. Thank you guys. Okay, so maybe I'll start off with a little bit of a background. I started using a Hobonichi Weeks in 2021, in spring actually. This is the spring release for that year, and I initially bought it for work. So the main purpose of this planner was for work notes, meetings and things like that, and like project planning and things like that. So that's how I mainly use this planner initially, but it's kind of changed over the years to what it is today, and I have been quite consistent over the years, but I'm thinking about adding more things that I haven't included in these two planners before into this planner here, as well as for next year. Things I've mentioned before on my channel is wanting to use it as a health planner, or adding kind of a health tracker element to my Hobonichi Weeks, and again, just keeping it still flexible, because I'm actually gonna start school as well in the beginning of next month, and I'm also looking into remote work as well. So I don't want to have every page decided for next year, but I also want to include more actually than what I currently have in this planner. One of the main changes I want to make is, if you're familiar with my Hobonichi Weeks, you know that in the notes pages, or at least maybe for this year, I was recording my TV, movies, and books read, and yeah, and games played, I think, as well. And I actually carried that on into this year, and it's going quite well. I just been keeping it quite consistent. I have been doing less art related to this compared to earlier years. I just kind of put the kind of icon symbol of what it is in the back here, but I'm actually thinking about changing that this year. And I just been needing to use my notes pages more for notes than how I had it before, where I would just have pages and pages of just movies and TVs and shows that I've read. And yeah, sorry with the background noise, but yeah, I just had it like this for the entire notes pages, but now I've realized that I would like to track more things. In the back here, I try to track a little bit for health here, and then I moved that to the weekly pages, but then I got rid of it, and then I use it to track yoga now, and I'm thinking about changing how I set this up as well for next year. But there's just little things here and there. For a while I tracked my blood pressure, and I've always tracked my steps in the front quite consistently. I can show you here. So this is what 3 years worth of step tracking looks like in Hobonichi Weeks on the yearly page. Green is for over 10,000 steps, and like I said, I started this in spring, so it's from March to March, so I didn't use these last 3 columns. I just started a new one when I used from last year. Anyway, so you know, I just have always included some kind of health element to it, but I just haven't had a dedicated section for it. And I've been trying out different things. I've been using stamps. I've been using like habit trackers in relation to like, you know, working out or running or yoga and things like that. But now I'm thinking about maybe dedicating the entire right side to having some kind of health tracker, or maybe including it somehow on this side. One of the things that I also decided for next year that I probably am gonna stick to is I like to net print, and let me just check this page. Yeah, I think this. Yeah, I like to net print, and so like I like to stick these date stickers on this side, but it does take up a significant side. I mean, if you divide this, there's like lines where you can divide this into 3, and I'm using 1 for just this kind of deco, and I'm thinking about removing it entirely. Even though I like the look of it, I just, you know, I think it's a really fun element. Here you can see this one artist that I like. I print it out and I stick it on the pages, and yeah, I just like this kind of element to it, but I'm thinking about that I need more functionality from it, and I'm thinking about including, you know, like my normal weather tracker here I have, and then maybe doing appointments, some kind of health element as well, like maybe my sleep score, or I'm not entirely sure, or just kind of like how active I am, or if I run or jog, or what kind of my exercise activity for that day could be as well. I'm thinking about implementing something like that for next year on the weekly pages. And another big change I'm thinking about doing, but I haven't done yet, is put my to-do list in the back here. I bought this like mini date stamp from on Amazon, and I thought for next year I want to just keep it more simple than I've ever had, and just maybe date it here with the stamp, and then write my to-do list, and then any movies or TV shows or books that I finish that day, I will include it at the bottom of that. So I will include like the date, to-do list, and then finished books slash TV shows slash movies here, just kind of like what I have been doing here, but just including it underneath the specific date instead of having a just continuous list. I don't know what people think about writing like the description about the movie and things like that. I actually enjoy when, or like even earlier here, I would have the movie poster, and then I would have like the Google or IMDb description of the movie here, and I would rate it, but I wouldn't actually rate it. I like the look of it. But anyways, I actually like writing about the movie or show or book that I read, just kind of copying it down. So yeah, I know it takes space, but I don't know, I just like it. And maybe I will have do like what I talked about before, like dating it, and then having the movie description here, and then maybe even drawing something from the movie that I liked. So it's kind of a mashup of what I had before, as well as but not getting rid of it completely. I think that's a good way for me to incorporate something new without removing something completely, because I actually like seeing how many movies and TV shows I watch, and I forget sometimes what I watch, and so it's a nice way for me to look back and be like, oh, I saw that movie, huh? And yeah, it's not very important, but I think, I've also been really proud of myself. I've read 5 books this year, and that's not something I normally do, so I also want to document that as well, and I'm happy to have that in the back here so I can see oh, I did that this year, and it's more of an achievement than how many movies I watched, but still, I just like having that information, and I just like having that little description associated with that as well in the back, and I will continue to do that as well. So one of the things I realized also when I was looking through my older planners is the way I decorate my planner has changed over the years. Not to say one is better or worse than the other, but for example, this week for my work, I kept it quite simple actually. Looking back on it, I realized I didn't use many things for my planner as I do now. Like for example, this is washi tape I had at the bottom when I started my week, and then I would just have it just very functional. I would have a to-do list, appointments, and my work hours, and then here I would have the weather and what I eat for dinner, and I just kept that up for the entire work period that I had. And what I would do at the end of the week is I would take the washi tape and cut out these little characters and stick them on the blank spaces, or just kind of bring the deco up so it's not just so heavy at the bottom. And I really like that element actually, compared to what I do now. Now I decorate by either printing out like a net print here and then decorating it with that artist, and then having still the weather and to-do lists and things like that, and lists and appointments. But I don't know, I just like this kind of, it's more simple, but I like having this kind of element that's throughout the page and throughout the weeks. While this one, I kind of, set it up for 1 week at a time, and I just really don't go back to decorate it again, if that makes sense. I like here I would spend Sunday to cut them out and stick them here. Well, I set it up for August, and I just fill it in during the week, and then I just don't really look back on it. And I think this kind of element of bringing like taking the washi tape and putting it around at the end of the week was something I really miss actually. And I do actually include a lot of flake seals in my current planner. I actually like flake seals a lot. I mentioned that in my stationery event video. I'm kind of loving flake seals right now, so I've been just buying more, and I have like made a whole new storage system for it, which I will show on a video, I think. But one thing about flake seals I don't really care for, and it's just for myself. But when I use flake seals, I have a hard time afterwards storing them, especially if there's not so many left. Like I have used flake seals, for example, maybe this is a good page, like this little like workout animal here, and I used it to track the days that I did some kind of workout. So it's like yoga or walking or running and things like that. And I don't want to save these flake seals for like next year, because I don't have so many as well. Like I don't have enough for next year to use them all, so I just want to finish them for this year. And it's kind of limited me to just decorate how I want more freely, I guess, and nothing's stopping me. No one is saying like you have to use up all your flake seals, but for myself it's like I don't know if I want to save 4 or 5 workout animals for next year, and I also don't want to throw them away if they're still good. So I don't know, I haven't really figured it out, and I think there's just a bit more pressure to use them. And like I said, my goal is to use them up for this year, so I actually haven't tried out very many new elements, I guess, for my current planner, and that's something I kind of miss now that I say that on camera. So I'm looking through now my planner from last year, 2022, and I also think it's kind of interesting that I started at some point to track my moods with these little stickers that I had bought, and I don't know if that's something that I want to do next year now that I'm looking at it. What I also think is good about the way I decorated, not this year but like the previous years, was that I would include like seasonal things as well. Like these are kind of from summer, and like here I climbed Mount Fuji and I made it to the top, and I don't know, I don't really celebrate those types of like travels, I guess, that I used to do in this one, and like for example like this. And I'm thinking about how I'm going to try to include that here. I want I guess ideally I want my planner for next year to have like my weather that I've always had, appointments, some health tracker, to-do lists, or maybe that's in the back now. To-do lists and trackers are in the back. but then also something representative of the week as well, like if I go on a trip or things like that, have space for that. And then now I'm gonna need to have space for school and potentially work. So I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna get a new, like a secondary planner, because school isn't like, I don't need to take notes. Like a lecture school is more like participating and things like that. So I don't think I'm gonna need a whole new planner for school or work. It's just trying to maybe keep it flexible, but yet seasonal. I like the seasonal elements. I like the kind of bringing the decor like from top to bottom, but still having space for work and appointments and things like that. So these are just my thoughts at the moment, and like nothing is decided or anything like that. I just been in my head, I guess, seeing the lineup and thinking about what I want to do for next year, and just how I can have all my elements that I like in one planner. I see a lot of people on YouTube have so many different planners, which I mean is great. But for me, I think storage for the future is also on my mind as well. Like I would love to have like a planner for my YouTube channel. I have one for my hobbies, which is museums, but at the same time I don't know if I want like so many planners to store every year. Like I'm saving more than 2 planners in my drawers. Like I do my Hobonichi Weeks, so I have 2 Hobonichi Weeks every year, and then I have a planner, or like, I mean not a planner, like a creative journal or my cafe journal, and that's just a lot of notebooks to store, especially if I have at least 2 a year plus any A6 size or A5 size as well. So I don't know, I'm just trying to keep my year in one book with all that kind of information, and I don't know if I'm limiting myself or just saving myself some headaches in the future when I have like 10 Hobonichi Weeks for 1 year. Like that would be such a headache for me to have to store. And people have like archive books, I think I've heard, and like that is what these books are for me. I have my journal here with photos and things from my travels, and what my thoughts and feelings are in this one, and then I have my very practical, functional, like planning, to-do list, and just daily life, like slice of life type stuff. And I don't know, while I think it's good to have other planners for other needs, I don't know, I wanted just to contain it all into 2 books, if that makes sense. There's no problem with having more Hobonichi Weeks or having more planners as well. I just think about how will I store them for future times. And I don't know if people worry about that, but I definitely worry about that. And I think I just want everything in one book, or at least, well, in 2 books, but just this kind of like social media, health, work, school, life in one book. I mean, it's a life book. I mean, that's what Hobonichi's like, not motto is, but that's what they call these books. They're called life books, and many people put their life in many books, but I don't know. I'm just trying to fit as much as I can into one book, and maybe it's a sign I should get to a bigger size, like an A6 size. But I mentioned before, and why my 5-year didn't work for me. I am someone who looks at my week, or like how I look at my day as a week, if that makes sense. Like like if I just had this whole page for Monday, and like I didn't do anything here for Monday, or nothing noteworthy or appointments or anything like that, then this whole page would be blank. And I like when I look at my journal that like, oh, this is the week that I climbed Mount Fuji. Like I have this whole image of this whole week kind of revolving around that, and I know that when I look at this one page opened, I know that this is the week that I picked my mother from the airport, we slept, took Shinkansen, climbed Mount Fuji, took the bus, stayed at a hotel, and all that stuff. Like, because I have it on a weekly view like this. And if I had it like 1 page per day, I don't know if I would have that same element, especially when it comes to planning. So like when I start my week, I start Monday, I have a to-do list for the week here, and I can move that on the days that I wish. And if I have an A6, I don't know if I could do that as efficiently, you know, to make it functional. Like, I'm not journaling in this by any means, but just having it functionally. I look at things in a week, if that makes sense. Okay, so my camera overheated and cut me off somewhere, so I will end this video here. Thank you if you made it this far, like listening to me talk this entire video about my Hobonichi Weeks. And yeah, I don't know, I'm I guess very excited for next year, and there are actually some weeks I already have my eye on, and yeah, I'll keep that as a surprise, but I know I'm gonna pick one for my planner for sure, and just thinking about which one I want. And yeah, I don't know, it's just exciting. So I hope this video was a little bit insightful for you know, how one can change their use of their planners, and try to make it work still. Like, I still want to use this as a planner, and I still want to incorporate more things into it. And I know that this week's can handle the new things I want to put in here and how I want to put it in here. And so I'm excited to start next month or next year with this kind of new system I want to do. But for sure, Hobonichi Weeks will be my planner for next year. And yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Bye!